Prescription Drug Abuse by Jennifer Denbo. I never thought the day would come where I would be buying illegal drugs for my grandmother. Why admit this criminal activity, you ask? Well, because the prescription drugs that her doctor was prescribing were killing her. She was addicted to the powerful pain medication Norco. I did many things to try to keep her safe while taking this medication. I went as far as taking her medication home and doling it out daily, because if I didn't, she would take more and more. By the time I got there, she would have taken 6 to 10 pills, and it had only been 5 hours. She would take them not to get high, but because she forgot if she had taken one earlier. Or she would have really bad pain even though she remembered she took one, and take another one just because it still hurt. She lived in a senior center where the elderly tenants liked to pretend they were doctors, and they would share prescription drugs and diagnose each other back and forth. She was often receiving additional pain medication from them and prescription sleeping pills from her co-tenants. This brings me to that fateful day where I purchased marijuana for my grandma and baked it into brownies. This happened on the day that I went to give her her daily medication, and I found her on the floor, naked, covered in blood, lying in a puddle of her own urine. That day, I tossed all the pain medication in the house and the sleeping pills. And after a conversation with the apartment management, she was only eating the marijuana brownies that I made her to help her with her pain and with her sleep. Now, my grandma was not the stereotypical drug addict that you would think of. She was a 75-year-old woman, and she was in pain. She did not take them to get high. She did not take them to feel funny. She did not take them to get through her day. She took them because she hurt everywhere and didn't know what else to do. And the only answers the doctor had was more and more pain medication. To be clear, I am not promoting marijuana use. My focus today is on prescription drug abuse. According to drugfree.org, prescription drug abuse is defined as the intentional use of prescription substances solely for its psychoactive effect in the absence of medical treatment and supervision. Addiction, however, is so much more than that. It's something that completely takes over your life. When people begin to take drugs, they do not intend to be addicted or have to abuse them. Prescription drugs, on the other hand, is generally accidental. People are injured and are given pain medication, or they have chronic pain, or both, and before you know it, they're addicted. But addiction to prescription drugs has consequences. It can lower your inhibitions. It causes job loss. You let down your family. You may find yourself stealing from your family to get money to buy them. They also take you down a path where you may be taking more of a variety of pills. Often people start taking them when they don't need them. From a medical standpoint, people who take medication that they don't need often become harder to treat as patients. I work on a surgical floor and often find patients who are taking heavy doses of pain medicine before they come are harder to control their pain when they're there because they've built such a tolerance, and they often go with their pain being uncontrolled. Now, addiction, it can consume anyone. It can consume your teenage neighbors, your father, your grandmother. It doesn't choose there's no choosing. It's just, very hard to predict who's going to be addicted and who isn't. Non-medical use is becoming a problem more and more in our high schools and with college students. A survey by the National Institute on Drug Abuse says 1 in 4 kids ages 12 to 14 say they have taken prescription drugs. A shocking 11% of those are 10th graders and 7% of them are 8th graders. They say that they have taken them that wasn't prescribed for them. Approximately 48 million people are taking pain medication, either prescribed or otherwise. And according to an article by Childbliss, 25% of those people are elderly. One problem of many with prescription pain medications and other kind of medications is that often people think that because a doctor prescribes it that it's safe. 50% of teens believe that it's safer to take prescription pain medicines they find than to use drugs on the street. 50%. They use their home medication cabinets as their source for getting their drugs. Mainly four types of drugs are abused. The first kind is depressants. The classification is that it's a sedative or a tranquilizer. Some examples are Zyprexa, Seroquel, Haldol, Xanax, Klonopin, Halcion, and Liberium. The next kind are opiates. These are painkillers. Examples of these are oxycodone, hydrocodone, meperidine, hydromorphine, and paroxetine. The third type is stimulants. These boost your energy and attentiveness. Examples of these are cocaine and amphetamines. And the fourth is antidepressants, and these are the psychiatric drugs Prozac, Paxil, Celexa, Zoloft, Effexor, and Remeron. These medications can be very harmful in the wrong hands. They are sold or stolen, prescribed to those who don't need them, and that's always my favorite. Some ways to fight against the epidemic is be aware and share what you know with others. Tell people how dangerous they are. If you see someone using them, inform them that it's not safe. The reasons you should not share your medication are that you don't know what allergies other people may have. There could be medication interactions. You should speak to your doctor if you feel an addiction is coming or if you feel someone else may have an addiction forming. You should always take your medication as directed. Do not stop or start without speaking to your doctor. As healthcare workers, we need to watch for people who are ER surfing, going from one ER to the next just looking for pain medication. How often do they come in with a hospital bracelet still from the last hospital? That's happened. Are they doctor surfing, and do they have several doctors prescribing them different medications? In conclusion, I would like to confirm how addictive prescription drugs are. Depressants, stimulants, opioids, and antidepressants. All of these can be life-changing and have horrible consequences. Be aware of what's going on around you. Get the message for danger out. Prescription drugs are more addictive and more dangerous than some people may think. Addiction is frequent.